Okay. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name
Okay.
is Monika Friend, and I am the Child and Family Therapist at the Tigard School-Based Health Center.
Thank you, Monika, for doing this interview with us.
No problem.
So first of all, we would like to know and get your input on what kinds of abuse there are.
Well, teenagers can find themselves in lots of different abusive situations. They fall into certain categories, but mostly they can find themselves victims of sexual assault. They can find themselves in a domestic violence situation, maybe partner violence, or just in a situation where they feel uncomfortable, or that feeling that they get when something's not right, but you can't yet put your finger on it. We put them in categories, but basically there's a whole lot of situations that teenagers can find themselves in that they feel out of their depth, or maybe just dangerous in some way.
Mm-hmm. So, like, some of the things that we're going over on the video are like verbal abuse and mental abuse and physical abuse. So,
well, I'll try to elaborate on some of those. Verbal abuse is very simply if I call you names or say derogatory things about you. You're lazy, you're fat, you're ugly, no one's ever going to like you, you're no good, you're worthless, or, cuss at you, call you, cuss words. Emotional abuse is kind of like that, only it kind of it goes a little step farther. Emotional abuse would be where somebody makes you feel bad to be alive, really bad about your life. And some of those are the things that I already said, like, you're never going to amount to anything. No one could ever love you. Kind of striking at your humanity almost. And when you hear stuff like that a lot, you start to believe it, and that's what starts to make you feel really bad. Now, I've heard people tell me, physical abuse is bad, but the worst is emotional abuse, that kind of abuse. Because it stays with you. Long after you may be away from that person, that stays with you.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have any warning signs that people can look for when they think they might be in this kind of situation?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would start by going back to what I originally said. Anytime you feel that feeling, there's something like, and it's inside, it's just like, you feel yourself hesitate because you're in a situation you're not familiar with, or you're hearing something that hurts, that's time. You don't automatically have to conclude, oh, it's abusive, but that's time for you to sit and think, I need to do something to protect myself, or I need to step back and talk to somebody else about what's happening here so that I can, kind of get my mind around it or understand it. But warning signs in a relationship with a partner is going to be things like when if someone threatens you, if someone tries to manipulate you through guilt, or to get you to do what they want you to do. When someone uses verbal abuse or emotional abuse with you, someone who tries to control everything that you do, or kind of takes a parental role and say, well, where were you last night? Where were you just now? Expects you to call them right back, or be available, or like on call 24/7. People who are limiting your friends and don't want you to be around other people, and you find your world getting smaller and smaller. Let's see, what are some other ones? Violating your privacy. Asking every detail about something, or wanting all the way in, or have a sense of entitlement, like I'm entitled to know all this because I'm your man, or I'm your woman. Because girls can be very intimidating as well. Let's see. Oh, harassment, isolation, using male privilege, that's another one. I'm the guy, more as traditional type roles. So I'm the guy, and I get to flirt, or I get to, having a double standard. I get to flirt, I get to do that, but you can't do anything. So the same freedoms aren't enjoyed by both people. Those are some of the warning signs.
Okay. So if someone were to see these warning signs and start to think that they were in a bad situation, what would you suggest that they do?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I mean, you don't always know, especially since you wouldn't be in that situation if you didn't like the person. So there's things about that person that you like, and so it's hard to get your mind around the fact that you like this person, but he's treating you like this. And those two put together, they're very hard to. So you end up kind of in this immobile place, and you don't know, is it here, is it here? And so you kind of, that's what tends to make people just kind of stay there, because they can't figure out what's going on. So I would suggest talking to someone about it that you trust, just to get their input. Or you might talk to a lot of people. And you don't even have to say it's happening to you. You could just say, if you had a friend who was this way, what would you do? Or what would you think if somebody did this? And get a lot of information from a lot of people so you can help yourself think about it. Secondly, it's really important to realize that in abusive relationships, they're not all bad. If they were, you would never be in them. It'd be like being in a relationship with your enemy. You wouldn't do that. So there's a cycle that goes along with violence, and there's always that honeymoon period that comes at the beginning, where they just love you so much and everything's so great, and they're romancing you, in the center of somebody's attention, and you're just like, really, oh, I love this, it's all sunshine. And then there's kind of there's a honeymoon period, then there's this other period where it starts to build up. There's some tension, there's some conflicts, and there's some kind of friction between you, and then there's this incident that something happens. And then after that, you go back to the honeymoon phase where they go, I'm so sorry. It'll never, I don't know what came over me. And they'll say, I'm sorry a lot and apologize. Or they'll say, you made me do that. If only you would have been there when I called, I wouldn't have hit you. Or I wouldn't have, And so it's good to realize that these things are in cycles, and that the fact that there's a honeymoon part and there's a part that, but you don't know him. He's so different when you're not around, or when this doesn't happen. And realize that that's really a part of the whole relationship. The second thing would be to actually end the relationship. I jump straight to the end it. Because it's almost like being with, it's putting God and Satan all together. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? It's just, and that makes you crazy. That makes you feel crazy. Pretty soon black is white, up and down. It kind of makes you feel crazy, because you love, someone says they love you and then they hate you at the same time, or they treat you like their lover and their enemy at the same time. And it makes you nuts. And if you feel that you're in a relationship like that, you need to end it. You need to end that relationship. And you can say, look, this isn't working. This doesn't fit for me, whatever it is. Just realize that what you'd really like, and girls need to get, and guys too, need to get in touch with what they want in a partner. And if this person doesn't have those qualities, then then it's just not what you're looking for. Is this person going to be a good to me? Does this person respect people? I mean, these are the things that you need to think about beforehand. Then when you meet someone and they start showing these